Alright, in today's lesson we're going to walk through some more concepts related to the sum and difference identities for cosine. First, let's start with a little true or false. When we look at this problem and we're trying to determine if this is true or false, we can see that the only way this statement would be true is if I were looking at an angle sum for cosine, 50 plus 25. And if that were the case, then this sign would have to be a minus. Therefore, this is a false statement. When we look at the second one, this is also a false statement because the only way that this would be true is if I were doing 70 plus 80, so a cosine of 70 plus 80, but in that case the cosine term would have to come before the sine term. So this problem is also false. Now in example 2 we are going to do a verification. Now for this verification you want to pick one side of the equation and simplify it. Now it's definitely easier to start with the left. Let's expand it out and see if we can make it equal the right hand side. So at first expansion we'll have cosine of the angle, opposite sine, sine of the angle, sine of the angle. Then we can go ahead and plug in those values for cosine and sine of pi halves. So 0 times cosine x minus 1 times sine x. And we see that that gives me negative sine x equaling negative sine x. And we're good. Alright, let's move on to our topics for today. Okay, so in this problem I want to find cosine of a plus b. And if I think about what I know based on my formula, that means I need cosine of a, cosine of b minus sine of a, sine of b. However, the only problem is that I don't know what angles A or B are. All I know is the ratio and the quadrant that I'm located in. So off to the side, what we're going to do is we're going to make a little XYR chart. We're going to find X, Y, and R for angles A and B. Now for angle A, I know it's in quadrant 2, which tells me my Y value is negative. My x value is negative. And for angle B, I know it's in quadrant 4, so my y value is negative. Alright, and for back to angle A, sine is y over r, so I know my y is 2, my r is 3, and I can do Pythagorean theorem to get that a is negative root 5. For angle B, I know that my y is negative 1, my r is 3, again, Pythagorean theorem gives me positive 2 root 2 for my x. Now that I have that, that's the hard part. Now I just go ahead and plug in my ratios. Remember, cosine is x over r, so cosine of A is negative root 5 over 3. Cosine of B is 2 root 2 over 3. And then I do the same thing for sine of A. Sine of A is going to give me 2/3, and sine of B is going to give me negative 1/3. And then after simplifying, when I multiply these radicals, I'm going to get negative 2 radical 10 plus 2 all over 9. Now, you could also write your answer as 2 minus 2 radical 10, same difference. Alright, for this problem, I want you to go ahead and try it on your own, expand the formula, find your x, y, r values, and then this symbol right here just basically means that it's an element of the set. Therefore, angles A and B are in quadrant 4. Your final answer will be shown in just a minute, so pause the video and try the problem. Alright, so given that my angles A and B are in quadrant 4, I know they both have a negative y value. Based on my cosine and sine values that were given, I was able to fill in my x and r and y and r, and then using Pythagorean theorem solve for the other missing values. I then expanded the formula, cosine, cosine plus sine, sine, and then filled in the ratios. When I'm grading your work, things that I'm going to be looking for are that you have found these values for x, y, and r. I definitely need to see what you are plugging in for your ratios, and then your final answers. Okay? Alright, that is it. Good luck on your homework.